General Pershing was appalled to find that his soldiers, whom he considered to be untrained, had been given definite tasks in the Australian battle plan. Pershing announced that the Americans must be withdrawn. Haig had to agree and informed his army commander, Rawlinson, who passed on the news to the Australian commander, General Monash. Monash at once demanded to see Rawlinson.
It was a meeting full of tense situations. I well knew that the withdrawal of those Americans would result in untold confusion and in dangerous gaps in our line of battle. So I resolved to take a firm stand and press my views as strongly as I dared.
In effect, Monash told Rawlinson, no Americans, no battle. Rawlinson spoke again to Haig, who gave his authority to use American troops. Monash remarked,
"It appeared to me at the time that great issues had hung for an hour or so upon the chances of my being able to carry my point."
Great issues had hung indeed. The battle that followed was a model for the whole war. It was all over in an hour and a half. By the end of that time, at a cost of some 750 Australians and 130 Americans, 1,500 Germans were captured, and all the ground attacked had been won. Monash commented,
Le Hamel was the first offensive operation on any substantial scale that had been fought by any of the Allies since the previous autumn. Its effect was electric, and it stimulated many men to the realization that the enemy was, after all, not invulnerable.
And now the war turned into a race. Both Foch and Ludendorff were pushing forward their preparations for attack. For the Germans, it was a matter, in Ludendorff's words, of striking one more blow that should make the enemy ready for peace. There was no other way.
General Headquarters again decided to attack the enemy at his weak point. Accordingly, an attack on both sides of Rheims was planned for the middle of July.
Foch perceived that this was the decisive moment of the year, and of the war.
By the middle of July, it could be seen that the time was fast approaching when the opposing forces would be practically equal. If the enemy did not attack, the hour had come for us to take the offensive. If he did attack, to accompany our parry with a powerful counterstroke.
Once again, it was the Germans who completed their preparations first. The German blow fell on July the 15th, a massive attack by 52 divisions, east and west of Rheims. Against them, Foch deployed a truly allied army, French, British, Italians, and Americans. The western attack fell upon the Italians and had considerable success. British divisions were rushed up to hold the line. Not far away, the Americans were again called on to make a stern defense. The eastern attack failed completely. Here, the French had deliberately withdrawn from their forward zone, saving their strength for the counter-offensive. A German officer wrote,
"I have lived through the most disheartening day of the whole war. This wilderness of chalk is not very big, but it seems endless when one gets held up in it. And we are held up. Our guns bombarded empty trenches. Our gas shells gassed empty artillery positions. Only in little hidden folds of the ground, sparsely distributed, lay machine gun posts, like lice in the seams and folds of a garment, to give the attacking force a warm reception. After uninterrupted fighting from 5 o'clock in the morning until the night, we only succeeded in advancing about 3 kilometers.
The next day, the Germans could only make very slight progress. The day after, none at all. The same man wrote,
I know that we are finished. My thoughts oppress me. Everything seems to be at a standstill. I do not believe that we shall ever get our hands free again. The American army is there, 1 million strong. That is too much.
The Second Battle of the Marne, like the first, marked a moment of equilibrium. Now Foch, like Joffre before him, knew that his hour had come. He greeted it with stern satisfaction.
On July 17th, the Germans had been reduced to impotence. On the 18th, the guns of the Allies were in turn to make their thunder heard at the time and place which had been fixed upon.
Once again, as in 1914, all the war, all its potential, all its hopes and fears and deceitful promises were centered on the river Marne. The wheel had come full circle.